So, good evening and a warm welcome to all of you. Um, we are very happy to have you over, and this is part of. I'm also a Laadli awardee in my earlier avatar as a journalist, so I know how excited one felt about this interaction also, as much as the main function when the award is handed over. So, I wanted to start with asking each one of you to um, get up and speak about, introduce yourself so that you can, everybody in the room can get to know you and understand about your work. Just a brief intro. Yes? Yes.
This particular event is very special because we have 11 international award winner, 8 event, 9 of you who are attending and 2 jury members from South Asia, which is really very, very exciting and encouraging for us. It's, slowly it is picking up, and I hope we have more entries coming from all the countries and more winners coming from different countries. And I hope we get the funding available from UNFPA or some other agency. And we also have 6 award winners who have done amazing work in the focus areas of UNFPA. And we have one representative, one award winner here, Sheelu Srinivasan. So she's done a lot of pioneering work in elder care. And we are very, very happy to have her. Thank you for joining us. And we have a film award winner writer for Kathal. And we have one national award winner. And we have Mr. Alexander, who has won an award for his book. And he is a very, very senior program director, manager, and has done many things. So I really want you to interact with each other and know about each other so that we learn a little more about your countries and the issues related to gender in your countries. So feel free, because we have less number of people, so we have more time to talk.
I'm going to take the mic around, and we'll probably go around it from each table to table. Then you can use that time to talk. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sonali Wanigabaduge. I'm from Sri Lanka, here with my colleague Anya. I work as a lawyer and a television talk show host at one of Sri Lanka's privately held media organizations. On my talk show, I predominantly talk about policy, development, legal rights. When it comes to the gender space, I try to talk about issues pertaining to sexual and reproductive health and rights, demystifying toxic masculinity, getting more women in the legal spaces, mental health, etc. I'm really honored and privileged to be here today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anya Vipulasena from Sri Lanka. I am a freelance journalist, and I work on, I do everything basically because as a freelance journalist, you're supposed to do a lot of things. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is about the work that I did about the women, and also I just started writing about women in sports, which I'm quite proud about right now. And also, like Sonali said, my focus is on women rights and economy of the women. For example, how the microfinance system is affecting them. So yeah, that's it. And I'm also very privileged to be here with Dilrukshi. Oh yes, so I shared it with like everybody that I work with. So quite proud because my application involves the people that I work with, like different people that I work with. So everybody was like really happy, and I mean, Dilrukshi was mostly happy for both of us.
Hello, my name is Taposhi. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a working journalist. I'm working at the Daily South Asian Times, the English newspaper at Bangladesh. Before, I worked at electronic media. Actually, I was excited when the award announced, and I also give thanks to Dilrakshi because we are the part of SWAM. So it's nice. If I should say something about my work, all of us facing the same problem. The South Asian journalists, especially women facing many problems because male dominating ego. Do you know, each and everybody know, my work is to legislative part like secretariat and corruption commissions and power practice and all over the situation, women are dominated. When the BCS cadre, the journalist, each and every one doctor. So we try to focus on that, how girls, how the women's deprivileged, you know. So I talked last night with one of my winner colleagues from Nepal. The discrimination between salary, structure, and the facilities well, there is no insurance, you know, is these professions, oh, the South Asians, there are no security. When the journalist got attacked, but no one should carry them, no one give assurance, what will be happened and what will our career goes on. And after our career, we don't have any provident fund. I don't want to say about myself, I see it's all over the South Asia. So we have to look forward that and we have to fight. I think this is a good platform for us to fight with unitedly, and I think you people encourages us and all of we will fight. It will make a good networking and we will work together. And I want to especially thanks one of my senior colleagues from Swam part, you know her name, Rosina Islam. She actually nominated me to join here and I really overwhelmed and honored to join here. I think it will make us stronger. It will make us proud to do something for people, mass people, and our duty. Thank you, everybody. Actually, I think all over the South Asia or whatever I see, there is no specific word is freedom. By myself or by ourselves, some people make it self-censorship. Okay, and ICT Act, you know about the ICT Act of Bangladesh and Secrecy Act of Bangladesh. This is very horrible. We try to demolish this act and we fight from our journalist community. Do you want to know about our political situations and the media freedom? Actually, no navigation or no notable changes before and now. It's quite similar. We try to fight, we try to say, eventually, try to freedomly say, I don't know what will be happen if we will demolish the ICT Act, then it will be good for us. Moreover, journalism is doing well at Bangladesh. Thank you, everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Zamat. I'm from Maldives. Actually, I was like, it was my dream to become a presenter, but by accident I got this journalism job. So yeah, after that I worked as a journalist almost 17 years, and after that I'm working in this field as Minister of Islamic Affairs Studios CEO. And actually, the thing is, I really like to present. I want to, become a newscaster. So I did that part, and currently I can't do anything because of this, my current job. And about the challenges, I would say that is, in Maldives, it is not really easy to become what to say, if we get pregnant, it won't be easy for us to work. I have that experience. I have a 6 years old son. So I was working in government media, and I had so many challenges, and I had to left that job because of these challenges, because of discrimination actually, because we are women and they are like saying we can't do anything. But now everyone says that yes, I am CEO of Ministry of Islamic Affairs, so they can see me as a CEO now. So yes, we have challenges, but we can get over from it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aisha. I am also from Maldives, the southern part of Maldives, that is Addo city. When after I finished my A levels, I also joined the media, but it is not where now I am. I joined national radio as a presenter and producer, and we produce radio programs for the community. That is nearly 40,000 people. And there we have to go to the community, and then we talk, we will be with them, and we know everything, what they need, and we aware. There are a lot of issues with the women and around the children and also the community. So we make programs for them. That is that is a part. And later, 2012, the online media came, and then me and Shim, I joined with online media. That is, and now I'm also working there as an editor. I'm also the first editor, registered editor there. I started that, established it as, she is the one who is the owner and I am the editor. But there are a lot of challenges we face as women. The community is not accepting us to be as editor also. So as a leaders, so they talk, they ask us to, to, to make some other male, to make male dominance. So with the help of them and with the ideas they gave, she changed my post to the male. And that happens because those times we are also not aware what is happening. But now we know, because you are also giving us those trophies. Today we are standing here to that we are some people. We are also human. We are also girls. So we also can do something. Now you people are doing these things. So we stand up again, and now we are going forward. That's how.
Can you, the mic is working? Yes,
Yeah. I didn't understand. So she changed your position to a male position. What does that mean?
Let me explain. Okay, my name is Shimla. I'm also from Maldives, and I'm the very first woman who established a news media in Maldives. Wow. And with me, Aisha was there because we need an editor to register the online news media, and she is the only one from the southern area who has experience. But in the community, they did not accept the fact that women can lead the media because we don't have much experience. I was teaching in a high school, and yes, I am very good at language, I know that. And I'm a writer, but I don't have much experience in journalism. But still we started. And me, Aisha, we were working, but there are lots of challenges from the community and even from the government, even from our
mentors, like senior journalists, they said, we cannot handle the facts, we cannot face the threats from the media if the editor is a female. So I was also very young, I don't have experience, so I was afraid. So I gave that position to some male. And then that time she also changed to Mali and she started living in the capital city. So I was left alone and I gave the position to a male. But after some times again, I came up with the idea that yes, I can do everything. We don't need men to lead, we can do. So I started training young females to journalism. Across the southern four atolls, I traveled the atolls, and because I am a teacher, I started teaching them journalism. And we have like 20% of girls, journalists, female journalists who are my students. I'm proud of it.
Wow, that's great.
Now we are celebrating 13 years of our media, and now I'm working with the South Asian Women in Media, as I'm attending this event as a jury member from Maldives. Thank you.
Thank you, Som. You know, like if it's only because of you that we are having such good representation of journalists from across South Asia. And I think we should have more and more such networks and collaborations and partnerships. And I would very much like to know from you what else we can do and how else we can take this whole agenda forward. Dilrukshi, you've been with us for 2 years. So
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And my name is Dilrukshi. I'm from Sri Lanka. I represent the South Asian Women in Media. I'm the regional coordinator. So I get to work. I have the brilliant job of having to work with women from all 8 SAARC countries. So I think it's justly proud to be able to do that. I'm a lawyer and a journalist and a media entrepreneur, and one of the few, let's say a handful of women who could end up becoming a Sri Lankan editor. We have less than 10 forever. So to be counted among those 10 people would be a privilege. And we also understand it is not given easily. Also, it's not easy. So you have to acknowledge that we probably were in the right spaces. We work in a language. So language does help us to get to a place, because people who are working in the local languages don't have the opportunity to do so. Because of SOM, and we have started this group, we belong to a much larger regional group, and where we had male leaders, of course. None of the issues that we talked about within our industry as women were getting factored in. So we realized it was almost a protest movement. We wanted to have our own issues to be taken up, and we created South Asian Women in Media. And we work across the region, as Shim said, we have had different workshops. SOM is also doing a lot more regional work from 2025. You asked a question, Sharada, about what we could do better. I think we could actually have a chat around that, and there could be many things, and I see many suggestions. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, because you actually recognize women, not only English-speaking women, women who actually have access to education and other opportunities, but also who are not, but whose impact at the local level is really very important. And they are the ones who are really working with communities. And if we can have more focus and focus on the issues that really don't make it to headlines, I think that would make it. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you so much. We'll have a chat. Yep.
So my name is Binita Dahal. I am from Kathmandu, Nepal. Sorry, my voice is not that good because I'm having common cold and a little bit of fever as well, that's why. So I started working as a journalist some 14 years ago. I started from print media, and then I shifted to online media, and from online media I came to BBC as a radio producer. And now I work as producer and presenter and online producer as well for our digital content. So I have been working for 14 years now, and mainly I started working as a legal journalist because after I did my graduation in media, I joined one of the print media in Nepal, and then my editor asked me to do legal issues because I started writing feature stories, and he thought that mostly the stories that comes from judiciary is always hard news, so you need to write feature stories. That's how I started, and then I felt like I need to study law as well. That's why I'm advocate as well. But by degree only, I'm basically my main job is reporter. So yeah, I have been working in these issues, and my main focus is on political and legal issues, but by default it comes gender issues because when we do political reporting or legal issues, gender comes. So yeah, I knowingly or unknowingly, I do gender issues.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kalpana Bhattarai. I based in Nepal, Kathmandu. I also affiliated Nepal Investigative Multimedia Journalism Network, NIMJIN. I cover gender, climate change, human rights, and human trafficking. Thank you so much.
My name is Sheelu Srinivasan. I'm very much from Bombay. I don't know whether I am a sociologist or a psychiatric social worker because there is 7 years of experience in medical and psychiatric social work, 7 years as a sociologist, and finally I started my own NGO 28 years ago. It was because of very traumatic incidents at a Frankfurt airport where I found there was an old lady sitting in a wheelchair and wearing a white sari and blabbering away. And only one word, maybe in Sindhi, but one word I could make out, mera munna, meaning my son. Nothing else anybody could make out. So I went, the moment she saw somebody like her wearing a sari and all that, she caught hold of my hand. And then started blabbering. Then the duty officer came, oh, you are an Indian? So both of you speak Indian? I said, there is nothing like Indian. There are 35 languages in our country. So she speaks one type of language, I another. But I'm very much concerned for her. What can I do? I'm going to Bombay. So the duty officer said, this is really God sent, because for the past 3 hours, we have been wondering what to do with her. The fact was, somebody had abandoned her in the washroom, and she was in the wheelchair, and she can't walk. And so this duty officer said, this is the story of her, and we don't understand where she is from, which country to send to. In the handbag, there was no money, no passport, visa, nothing. Somebody, her daughter-in-law, son, whoever, simply abandoned her. So the duty officer requested, please come, she seems to be holding your hand. Some affinity she has seen in you. Please come, and we will admit her in a shelter home at Frankfurt. I said, I can't come because my flight is there in another 2 hours' time. I said, madam, I'm the duty officer, and I give you the promise, your flight won't take off if you are not checking in. Please go and come. I'll give you my car. So I was quite happy. I'm a social worker by profession. So took her, admitted her in the shelter home there at Frankfurt itself. They're so beautifully done, that shelter home, and they showed us one room, and we went. The moment she saw the bed, she simply plumped into the bed, and in 1 minute, she went asleep. And slowly her grip on me was going away. So all my way back from Frankfurt to Bombay,
I was in a state of very traumatic experience. What if my mother is lost like this when we are traveling from somewhere to somewhere, doesn't know the language, and she was 88 years old, the lady. So very, very traumatized. Finally, I made up my mind, okay, I'm going to work for aged people who are elderly, and decided, and I came back and met the director of TISS, that time was Dr. Armati Desai. And I said, this is what happened. I want to do something for the old people, elder care. She said straight away, establish your own institution, start working, and you have a publishing background, start with a magazine. So the first magazine in India, Dignity Dialogue, is for productive aging. How even while you are 60, 70, 80, you can be very productive. And yes, then I very deeply went into library in TISS and found so much of research on aging. So with the guidance of my director of TISS, I decided, okay, I'll start a magazine. Not academic journal, which I was editing in TISS, but a magazine with real life story, real people, like Femina, like many other magazines I launched, and was very, very lucky. Then Election Commissioner T.N. Seshan, he said, I will launch it for you. So the YB Chavan hall was full because all the papers said in today's engagement, T.N. Seshan launching Dignity Dialogue. The hall was full, overcrowded, flowing, and nearly 800 people. So at the hands of a very important person of India, launched the magazine. So ever since now, 28 years, I've been publishing. So after 3-4 years of publishing, many older people came and said, it's all right for you to publish and preach, and what about my loneliness? What will you do? I said, yes, I will come and see you. Then when I went to her house and saw so much of elder abuse was happening, the daughter-in-law came, here, your food. She just threw it on some snacks she was having. I was literally shocked, and somebody should behave like this to an elderly person. So when I visited the older people myself at their homes, I found the situation was very, very sad. I decided, therefore, launch the magazine first, thereafter started services like Dignity Companionship. Lot of young volunteers like this, gave them a training in social counseling, how to sit with the elderly, how to talk to the elderly, how to take them to the park, and 128 people like you signed up and said, we want to work with you. From there, it started and grown a lot in 28 years. Even established a retirement home at Neral. And Dolly is very much aware and very much a part of our growth of Dignity Foundation. Yeah. And so it goes on. Not yet looked at my successors. It's high time. Somebody should take over from me. One thing, so these are the issues in, with passion you start. And thereafter, who will continue the tradition? Who will continue the services after your time? I'm still looking for, not found a suitable person with so much of passion. If only with passion, you can really run an NGO with no bank balance at all.
Agree. Totally.
And no bank balance.
Yeah,
Therefore, but God has been very, very, very kind in helping me run it for 28 years. And that's how my life has been totally changed.
Thank you so much.
But I'm very happy with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Paulson Scaria. I'm basically a mechanical engineer, so also a scriptwriter. I wrote the movie Kadal the Core. I don't know how many of you have seen that movie. It is released in Malayalam last year, 2023, November. It's a story of a woman, Indian woman, who is married to a homosexual man in Kerala in a rural area. For the 20 years, she has been in that marriage. And when the husband contest in a ward election at the same time, not at the same time, she has applied for a divorce. So that election and the divorce happens at the same time, and it becomes like a hot topic in that area. And it culminates into that divorce and the result of that election. That was our movie, and it was much more related to the Section 377 and its repealment in 2018. And that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and it was directed by Geo Baby. I think the Great Indian Kitchen that many of you have seen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
You saw not only, you said it's very nice.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम संदीप मील है। मैं राजस्थान का रहने वाला हूँ। मैं दलित महिलाओं के साथ काम करता हूँ और मुझे ये समझ में आया कि जाति, वर्ग और जेंडर पेट्रियार्की से सबसे ज़्यादा उत्पीड़ित दलित महिलाएं हो रही हैं। और राजस्थान के बारे में तो आप जानते ही हैं कैसी स्थितियां हैं। माइग्रेशन के कारण उनको बहुत सारी चीज़ें सहन करनी पड़ती हैं। मैं कहानियाँ भी लिखता हूँ, उनके बीच कहानियाँ सुनाता हूँ। और उसी तरह की एक किताब जिसको लाडली मीडिया अवार्ड आपने दिया, मैंने बहुत नाम सुना था और लोगों को पढ़ता रहता था और उन्हीं की बीच काम करता हूँ।
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashok Alexander, and I lead the Antara Foundation. My background is unusual because I spent a lot of my career as a senior partner with McKinsey and Company. Some of you may have heard of. It's a leading consulting firm. And I spent the last 20 years in public health. Now, the theme of my learning and the two books I've written are on a simple, unusual truth. Which is that the problems that women face, the most marginalized of women, the solutions are usually given by people who come from the outside and inevitably are men. They've never experienced that problem before. So it is logical that the women who live with a particular problem will always know the root causes of that problem. If you know the root causes of a problem, you'll have the most insight into the solutions and you will implement those well. But organizations and NGOs and funders don't understand this truth very often. I'll just give you two anecdotes or two books, if you will, that taught me this lesson. When we started working with sex workers, most programs from the outside distribute condoms to sex workers. And yet the condoms were not being used. And so when I started this work, not knowing anything, I would say, you must use condoms, otherwise you'll die. And the answer I got finally was that, sir, we know we'll die. But to live 10 years and then to live is a lifetime for us. So why do you not use condoms? I would say, well, the reason is that because of violence. It's the violence that goes into the sexual encounter. When the man doesn't want to use a condom and the woman does, it results in a beating, results in a burning, much worse. So then there's unprotected sex. So then the words came out of my mouth, and what do we do about that? So there I was learning that I don't know the solution, she knows the solution. And they gave us a very simple solution on how to deal with violence against men, which boils down to a group of 12 women getting together and standing up to a man. It's a longer story. If you want, you could read my first book. This program became viral. It is today, it just went viral. Women all over India in 6 states took to this group movement. And the program was credited with averting over 600,000 HIV infections. It became the largest program, still is, ever done of that kind, and the credit goes to the women. Today I work with the same principle. I thought, what if we work in maternal and child health? And once again, what does the program do? The national program tells the woman, you must have 4 antenatal checkups. Your diet, your weight, all of that have to be managed. And yet women don't come for the first antenatal checkup, or they drop out by the second or the third. So this time I learned something. I said, why don't you come for the first antenatal checkup? Your child will not be healthy otherwise. And the answer was that the barriers they live with in the village, which we don't look into. The barriers such as the dominance of babas, of cultural norms, of bad access roads, of all of those things, which now in our work in Madhya Pradesh and tribal populations, we work with addressing those barriers. And once again, problems are being solved. So if I put it in one sentence, the women who live with a particular problem, they know the solutions. And if you empower those women and step out of their way, we'll achieve a lot of things.
Thank you so much. You want to say something about his book?
Those that haven't read Ashok Alexander's book, I would advise you to please go and grab it immediately. It really is one of the... That's how the light gets in. And it really is very, very good. And I couldn't put it down. And we've got the writer right here, the author. So I was so thrilled to meet him today.
Yeah, please.
A very good evening. My name is Senju Dema, and I'm from Bhutan. And I have been in the field of journalism for more than 15 years. And I have written on various issues, basically more on crime, which involves about women victims, you know, how they are discriminated and all those things. And also about politics, about how women are underrepresented. And I have always made an effort of writing more on that issue so that we can have more of a women in the leadership role, so that younger generation can look up to them and then, you know, find a motivation, and then, and also, like, you know, never feel that, you know, like they are like discriminated or they have nobody to look up, because it's most of the time it's only the male that has been seen as a role model. So maybe through my writing I want to change that perspective, that there are female role models in Bhutan that we can look up to, not only men. So I'll not talk much because I'm not an awardee, but I will give opportunity to my colleague here. Thank you.
Who are those people? Winners.
Good evening. My name is Angel Hatin, and I'm also from Bhutan. I work with the newspaper called Quinsel. So when I first started my career, I got an opportunity to write about persons with disabilities and to work with an NGO called Respect, Educate, Nurture, and Empower Women. That's Renew. So from there, I got my stories on women and children. Mainly, I started with gender-based violence. And I started my job in 2020 when the pandemic started. So we started calling gender-based violence as shadow pandemic. So that's when I got to get more in touch, because I started my early career with that. And I love writing more about women who are in good position, who is leading, and more of good stories, because I want my stories to have a happy ending. That's so selfish of me. But like she said, I want people to get inspired. I just don't want to show that women are leaking and all, but I just want to give them a way forward, because how long are you going to talk about the problem rather than not giving solutions? So right now, I have changed my beat. I mainly now write about environment and climate, but gender comes as a very big role in it, because if you look at it, women are more climate vulnerable victims, because if there's no water, the women are the ones who go to fetch water. And if you look at agriculture, Bhutan is agriculture hub only for, like, it's a primary source of livelihood. Women works more, but when it comes to selling, men goes and sell, so women don't get paid. So in this way, I try to intersect gender. But the award I got for this Laadli is on men. So it's Munna. Munna, you said right. Munna. So when I was writing about gender-based violence, there was a striking figure with Renew that men were equally victims. Because for me, gender-based violence and only meant physical violence. It was not. There is a lot of violence, and it's not gender-biased, because for men, they are from the patriarchal background that They are also patriarchal victims because the men are supposed to be strong. They have to face everything on their own. So when it comes to reaching out services, now men are in the shadow because they can't come forward. For women, it's easier to seek services, but for men, it's not. And when Renew went, when some women called saying they are the victims and their husbands were bullying, and when Renew went to investigate the cases, it was found that often men were the victims because women felt Renew is for women. They thought that they would back up. But then Renew told me that when it comes to gender-based violence, it's not only women, it's men, and now we have the whole lot of spectrum like LGBTQ+. So gender-based violence is no more gender-based. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for sharing, everybody. When I was studying at TISS, the day scholars would arrive to class first, and the hostelites would be the latest to come to class, but though they lived within the campus. So we've had something like that happening here. People from all over the world have arrived, but our Indians are just joining us now. So let's have them also introduce themselves. So generally people who arrive late are the more famous ones, fashionably late and all that. So let's get them to introduce themselves. Yeah.
Very good evening to everyone. My name is Maitri. I work with a newspaper called The Hindu, and I write on health, and very recently I've also started covering railway infrastructure and school education related issues for the newspaper. For The Hindu, yeah.
Hi, my name is Ankita. I used to write for this digital media house called Behan Box. I write mostly on gender. Right now I'm an independent journalist.
Hi, I hope I am visible. I'll just not stand if that is fine. Hi, I'm here. My name is Aishwarya Amrit Vijayaraj. I was born in Bihar, currently living in Delhi. I am an independent researcher, independent journalist. I also work in development sector. My work mostly concerns intersection of gender with caste, with queerness, with disability, and with everything that intersects with gender, but we often choose to ignore to maintain a status quo of gender itself. Thank you. Should I pass? Like, we can begin. Yes.
I was exploring a story a year ago in a central region state of India. India is a huge country, and I was exploring something in the state of Madhya Pradesh, where there was actually a scientific study, trial going on, a field trial, which was being held with the help of accredited social health activists or ASHA workers who are ground level, first step health intervention, sort of solution for the villages there, the villagers, and the ashas were being trained by Dr. Vikram Patel and a non-profit called Sangat, where they were looking at how to screen women for especially two conditions, depression and schizophrenia. And after that, the ashas were also trained to provide interventions. So basically the screening and then the therapy sessions, and then the entire scientific study was about what kind of life changes occurred in those women with those interventions. And then those interventions also exceedingly started extending to men as well, and whoever was in need, because ultimately the women in the family were getting affected. And so the idea, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
So, right. So I used to work with this publication called Behan Box, which is a digital media platform, and it primarily reports on issues of gender. So my story was on a park in New Delhi, in the region of Old Delhi in the city. And the park is called Parda Bagh, and it's a women-only park. So I went to that park one day, and I spoke to the women who frequented that park, and the kind of experiences they had and why they chose to frequent a park which is gender segregated. So through that story, I tried to explore the importance of such gender segregated spaces, the importance of leisure for women, and how should urban planning be approached. So it was a feature story that I did for Behan Box, and yeah, that's about it.
I really enjoyed reading that story, and it reminded me of a theater in our neighborhood when I was a child. It's called Basant Theater, and it had a Zenana section. So it had, we go up, and then only for women, and then girls and women, and there was a parda. The minute the interval came, the parda used to be put. When the film got over, the parda used to be put. And then we had the, privacy and safety and other things. And I remember watching even horror movies like, what if it was that one, sitting old, no, Hindi movies mostly. So, I remember watching that, holding my neighbor's hand, and then who I don't even know, but because it was so good, like, you could go alone and watch the movies. So I really feel your article is very important because it's time that we recognize that we need to have more spaces for women in the public spaces.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How long ago was this when you...
When I was a child, bole to soch lo.
Oh my
zamana.
God. Yeah. Thank you.
In say 70s.
Right, right.
Yeah, please pass on me. Pass on the mic.
Okay, so the piece that I have written, which has been awarded, it's basically a Hindi piece. I have done many ground reports with many different organizations like Outlook, Mook Nayak, the Quint. But the piece that got awarded is not a ground report. Rather, it puts some epistemic questions before all of us. So I'll just name the title of the piece in Hindi and then translate it in English because that is the most common language, yes. So piece का नाम ये है कि नारीवादी ज्ञान मीमांसा एक नज़र थियरी और ज़मीनी अनुभव को लेके. Because most often when we talk about epistemology in spaces where we sit, like comfortably dressed and in like comfortable room temperatures.
Yeah, please cut it.
No, I love her writings. I had to watch her walk. I read her. So I took a moment for myself and for others who read her.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So most often when we talk about, theory, we feel that theories are very heavily burdened, theorized things. But when we talk about women's experience, we see them not good enough to be theorized because historically women have been seen as not rational enough, not scientific enough, etc., etc. So in this particular piece, I basically quote all the research papers where historically, across cultures, women have been said to be devoid of the rational, scientific, and intellectual qualities. Then I draw from history of the American black community, the Dalit Bahujan community of India, where women have always been producing knowledge. They were always there working in the fields. So the physical labor was not just what men used to do, because that is how it was. And then I draw contemporary case studies from three media houses. First was a research paper that was...
Can you keep it shorter because we have many
Yes,
people
yes,
to
sure.
talk, yeah.
So I'll just speak fast because the content remains the same. So yeah, so the first is a research paper that was done by Feminism in India that speaks about how mainstream media reports the gendered violence in a very insensitive language. There is no active participant of the vulnerable women and girls, so that has to be intervened. Second is the case study of Sarse Siksha Farse Field, which is done by Nirantar Trust, where the women who speak about their experiences are not lettered, they are not university educated, but they are no less in their knowledge or in their epistemology than any of us who have been to universities, who have been lucky enough to be part of universities. And the third case study that I work upon is Khabar Lehariya, because the women journalists who run Khabar Lehariya are again not media professionals, quote unquote, trained in a very refined way, but they have their own way of doing journalism. And I pose a question that what is a political correct way of engaging with epistemology and where do women of marginalized communities stand who have been historically devoid of material access
Please,
to
you have to
gain those
make
things.
it short. Yeah.
I am sorry, my neurodivergence doesn't let me stop. I'm very sorry. Thank you. I'll just pass the mic.
Thank you, because we have a lot of people and UNFPA team is going to come, so we need to.
So hi, good evening everybody. I'm Nivedita. I'm from Chennai. So we run a web page called Her Stories. We basically started out as a Facebook page during the COVID lockdown. And from then on, we went to start a web page where women started writing, especially during the lockdown period. And then we started having Her Stories conversations, online Zoom meetings every weekend. Whether someone attended it or didn't attend, I never bothered, I just went on. There would be like, say, 2 or 3 people a week, and if the topic was lighter, there would have been, say, about 20, 30 people who would have attended the meetings online. So from there on, we thought it will be better if you start a publishing house, because we had a lot of women writing for us. So we went on to become a publishing house. So now we are about 100 books old, young. So all that started in 2021, and we have been doing a lot of workshops, like writing workshops are there. And I think last month we had a workshop called Understanding Women, for the men especially. So this particular article for which I'm being awarded is a piece about the queer community in Chennai, because as we all know, Chennai is more conservative, especially when it comes to gender and openness in talking and discussing about gender issues. So here we had a couple of trans people who came out during the COVID period. Probably the lockdown, in a way, had triggered so many people into some kind of self introspection, and because of that, a lot of people came out. So out of that, I try to look at the journey of 2 different people who are engaged in teaching line, who are working as teachers and still carry their different identities with pride. So I was able to do that story, and I'm still in touch with both of them. Both of them are authors now. They have written books, and I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
My name is Hina Kausar Khan. I'm an independent journalist. My story is about companionship between Bilkis Bano and her husband. In 2002, Gujarat riot happened, and the trial and all other things, related things published in media, but not the companionship, how he support, how their journey about companionship is also that, important, and we want to focus on that companionship. And I interviewed her, and the story is about their companionship. Thank you.
Who's next? Yeah, please.
Be blocking the camera if I stand up, so I'm just going to talk from here. Hi, my name is Apurva Mandhani. I currently work with The Print. I'm a law graduate by education, but I chose journalism early on while in law school. Actually, I worked with live law for quite a bit of time during law school and after it, and now I largely write about law and courts, and now I'm into political reporting as well for The Print. The story that got this award, and of course a big thank you to Population First for recognizing our efforts. The story is about this legal battle to catch a godman. This godman in question, his name is Virendra Dev Dikshit. He runs several ashrams in Delhi, and when I say runs, those ashrams are still up and running. One of the ashrams was raided a couple of years ago. That's when the journey begins. He's still absconding. The ashrams are up and running. He has rape FIRs against him. As per reports, as per a fact-finding committee set up by the Delhi High Court, the women in the ashrams were in really bad condition. But like I mentioned, he remains absconding, and so this was a sort of an investigation piece into this whole case, into how he still appears on YouTube. He's very active there. He stays in touch with his devotees in these ashrams, and how the CBI is still unable to catch him despite all of this.
Yeah, that was quite a hard-hitting story. Like, it makes you feel quite disappointed and disgusted at one level,
Yeah, that's how I felt actually, because I usually cover the courts, and that's how I came across one of these hearings. And I was quite baffled to know all of these things, that there are tapes being found with him still being active and he still wasn't caught. Anyway,
We have with us now Paramita Ora, who's receiving a special award for her amazing contribution to understanding adolescents and giving a voice to adolescents. She is receiving the UNFPA 50 Special Award. So I want to say something because we have some South Asian award winners. They would like to know about you.
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for this. When Yogesh called up to tell me this, I was like, wow, this is so awesome, because I don't usually win awards. So
Those
it's
who
nice.
don't win awards, so.
No, but I think I just want to say it's always awesome to come to Laadli Awards, because you get to hear about the work of so many different kinds of people doing such incredible things all around the country. So you get a sense of community that is really trying to change the discourse and hopefully the reality around us. Just to tell people a little bit about the work that I do. Currently, I run a platform called Agents of Ishq. It's a platform about sex, love, and desire. And it is for young people, but it's not only for young people in age, because I think all of us, none of us grew up with sex education or an open kind of sexual culture. So in a way, there's something for everybody, we believe. And it's something that we try to root very much in emotion and also in Indian culture, in Indian context and language, because we think that changes the way that you relate to your own self and to people around you. And I think that for young people, the basic thing is you don't have to have children of your own to think about young people. It's something that's part of social life, and that for all of us as a society, there has to be a thinking about caring for others. And what does it mean to care for young people rather than just to control their lives in some way or the other? And Agents of Ishq is an effort to kind of do that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Vishaka? Vishaka Datta is also another winner of UNFPA 50 Laadli Media Award. Thank you so much for accepting the award, and it's such an honor to present the award to you. And I think she has been talking about body autonomy and her,
Skin stories, yeah.
Awarded them also once, and amazing work that they are doing. Please share it because others would like to know.
Thank you so much. It was, like Paromita said, I was very excited to be given an award, because I too feel like some of the work that I've done is in the unawardable category. So this is clearly a theme that resonates. And perhaps that's because a lot of the work that I've done over the last 30 years, a lot of it with a nonprofit that I lead called Point of View, which is all about building gender equality nowadays more in digital spaces. But a lot of the work that we've done is about bodies, and many kinds of bodies, right? Like physical bodies, digital bodies, data bodies, queer, trans, bodies that are disabled, sex working bodies, etc. And I think we've tried to sort of really look at all these bodies as legitimate to begin with, right? And fighting for sort of voice and recognition, etc. And we do it through in a range of ways. It's publications, books, films, videos, digital storytelling, workshops, research. So sort of a very, very large canvas, really trying to ensure that all bodies can enjoy increasing autonomy, increasing respect, and dignity. So thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We have Nidhi Jamwal, who writes a lot about climate issues from a gender perspective. Thanks, Nidhi, for being here and accepting the award. Please, a little about yourself and your work.
So I'm an environment journalist, and I've been reporting on environment, climate issues. Yeah, sure. I will. So I'm basically an environment journalist, and I've been reporting and writing on environment and climate and rural issues for 25 years now. I work independently. I think one of my, I'm grateful that the work that I do, especially on climate with rural women, has been recognized by UNFPA and Laadli. Because a lot of time the narrative that comes out of rural women is that they are disempowered, they don't have agency to do things they want to do. But as I've traveled across rural parts of the country, I've also realized that rural women are also very enterprising. They have a lot of solutions for the climate challenges that we are facing, especially in terms of, adaptation. If we see, our mothers or grandmothers, they exactly knew how to make use of the smallest and littlest of things that were there at her home. And the whole idea of climate change is also to reduce consumption. How do you use minimum resources to make maximum impact? So a lot of my work that I do through rural reportage is to document stories of these women from climate perspective, how we can learn from rural women. And that's all for now, I think, and I'm really thankful that rural women and their work is being recognized. Thank you.
We've been, we've been in touch and we've been working, yeah. And she was the editor of a very good paper, Gaon Connection, which won many, many awards. And then we are really, we greatly appreciate your work, Nidhi. Thank
Yes. I believe there are people who have arrived later and have not spoken yet. Yeah, yeah, Anita ji. Yes.
Anita is also one more award winner under UNFPA 50 Laadli Media Award, and she's been working on gender and digitalization.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you very much.
Digital divide is her focus. Gauri.
Yes, thank you. I think, what we feel proud of is not because there are moments when we are alone, but it's about moments where we can share joy. And I think each one of us is here because of the other. And I think I really want to recognize Laadli as a space that has built community. And long ago, when I used to work with Munira Sen on Madhyam, the publication 20 years ago won the Laadli Award, and Munira was here to receive it. So when you called me, I think, my delight knew no bounds, because like Bishaka said, it's not often that, we are usually audiences in other people's awards, so feel very humbled and honored. Just wanted to say that my organization, IT for Change, works on issues of digital policy, digital justice, as we call it. And digital divide is very core to digital justice. Just like suffrage, the right to vote, that is, and the right to education, the idea is not the simple task of casting a vote for a woman or going to school, but the whole idea of cultivating meaning, being able to use opportunities and deriving a sense of fulfillment. And that's how we see the digital. That's how we see access to the digital. It's really about complete personhood, and I think that's what we said. About 20 years ago, we said no to access. We said meaningful access. And what's meaningful access should be determined by people for whom that access is meant, and that's people of the world. During COVID, we started this podcast, None Voice, None Choice, with schoolgirls and adolescent girls, because there was absolutely, the poor in the country had stopped going to school, and this was with Jain College. In Kannada, it means my voice, my choice. And now that has made way, and Paromita, we draw a lot of inspiration from your work, Bishaka, your work too. And we now have an Instagram account called Kishori Adda. It's an Adda only for Kishoris, and it has over 3 lakh impressions. And this is in the local language, Kannada. So you can imagine how the team strives to, grasp the idiom and the grammar of young people. It's work in progress, and we are here. We stand on the shoulders of all of you. Thank you so much.
So have all the winners spoken? You've, oh yes, the Kashmiris just arrived. So I believe they've walked all the way from Srinagar to here.
Hi. My name is Ahmed Khan. I'm an independent multimedia journalist based in Delhi, actually. I am from Kashmir, but I'm based in Delhi. I make films on environment, conflict, climate change lately because it's been an issue it's very new to subcontinent, actually. A lot of journalists have been covering climate change, but yes, there are publications who have done specific funding on climate change. So we're all diving into that. Apart from that, I have covered pretty much of South Asia, from Afghanistan to Bangladesh to Sri Lanka and other parts of South Asia. Conflict, elections, humanitarian crisis, and lately climate, as I said, and religion sometimes. Happy to be here, and thanks for giving us this award and encouragement for all of us. Thanks.
Oh my God, this is such a scary question. Hi, Mona. Hi. Myself, Sri Gauri Sawant. I run an organization called Nani Ka Ghar, where we take care of that abandoned, I don't use that word abandoned. We work with sex worker children, specifically girl child. The motive is this, the girl should be not going into sex work. हम सेक्स वर्कर को बुरा नहीं मानते, पर हम ये चाहते कि हमारे बच्चे सेक्स वर्क में नहीं जाए. ये काम हम करते हैं. Obviously, being a transgender, I have to work for my community. नहीं तो अब खुद का घर में दिया नहीं लगा है, बाहर जाके कैसे करेंगे? So I fight for my rights and all. Still, journey is going on, and I'm very much happy and glad that Sushmita played my biopic on Tali. So everyone knows that the struggle of transgender. It is not only Gauri's story. It is every transgender story, I think, and the way she has played it is fantastic. What else I have to say? I'm quite scared now. Mona, अजून काय बोलायचं का? काय नाही ना? So thank you, धन्यवाद.
Let's go ahead and have some tea and a sandwich before a long day ahead, evening ahead.
All right.
I apologize in advance for whatever I'm doing to everyone's ears with my voice today. Hi, I'm Surbhi. I work at the Caravan magazine in Delhi. And thank you all. Thank you, Laadli, for having me here. I'm an editor with the magazine, but mostly if I write, I do write about gender and the intersection of law and crime with gender, and that's what's brought me here. The story that I wrote last year was about 10 years of the Nirbhaya moment, and how, at least I argue, that it actually kind of changed and warped the way that we think about sexual violence, and how it kind of created an incorrect focus on the death penalty and sort of took the conversation away from what the feminist ideals of justice and change in society would be. And I think I'm really glad it was the only story I wrote last year. So I feel very fortunate to be here. Caravan has also really been very fortunate in the last few years. Every time Laadli has really recognized all of our work in the gender space. And it's been wonderful that every year somebody from our team is able to come here and connect with the community. And there's so many people here today that I want to speak to personally because I follow so much of your work. And I'll do that when we're having some tea. But thank you all for having me.
Go over tea and snacks. You can interact
Thank you so
and
much.
get to know.
Leclerc says, all the problems in the world look small on a full belly. So I think he makes sense.